Hey guys, meet the brand new 2024 Fiat 500e, and of course the E stands for electric. And if you know anything about the Fiat 500, you know that it came around in 1957 as a city car, and this of course is the latest version. In fact, Fiat has only built an electric version of the Fiat 500e, and in this video we're going to take it for a ride. We're going to see how it does in this Miami heat and traffic. And of course, we're going to tell you whether you should buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. So let's hit the road. Now you may be wondering, what does this little guy compete with? And there are two cars that come to mind immediately. Of course, the Mini SE, which is coming back with also, ironically, 150 miles of range, and the Bolt, which is gone, but you know, who knows? So we are coming back to a time of having small electric cars that are, oh God, I'm going to hate this because you guys are giving me so much, you know what, in the comments. Dare I say affordable? Look at that. It's a guy wheeling a scooter, only in Miami. But it's nice to see that we're getting back to a time when we have, and please don't crucify me in the comments, air quotes, relatively affordable cars, because if you lease this, you can get the tax credit, and depending on, you know, the lease amount, this could be something that would be a good car to have, just kind of to, you know, run errands in or take the kids to school. I probably wouldn't road trip it after having road tripped the Mini, but there is something charming about a little car in the city, easy to park, easy to turn, easy to own. Under the hood, of course, is an electric motor. It puts out 118 horsepower and 162 pound-foot of torque. It doesn't have a transmission because it doesn't need one, but it will do 0 to 60 in about 8.5 seconds. But more importantly, Fiat says it'll do 0 to 30 in enough time to make you feel queasy. So let's see if that is true. I'm going to make this turn, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of the accelerator. It's no longer the gas pedal, and see how it accelerates. All right, here we go. Full on. That's 30. Yeah, that's good. Not quite tunnel vision, but certainly very lively. Ride is very European, and what I mean by that is well dampened, nice firm steering, good steering wheel. Now, of course, for all of you guys who drive and love EVs, you'll know that really the heart of the car is no longer the motor or engine, if you're into internal combustion engines, but really the battery. And the new 2024 Fiat 500e has a 42 kilowatt hour battery with 38 of those kilowatts usable for daily driving. That gives you a range of about 149 miles in the city, or if you put it in range mode or Sherpa mode, you can get up to 167. Now, it doesn't charge all that quick, 85 kilowatts at its max, and Fiat says that you can go from 0 to 80% on a level 3 fast charger in about 35 minutes. Now, the experience we had when we owned the competitor to this, which was the Mini SE, which had 104 miles of range, was that on a road trip, you would basically drive for an hour and then charge for an hour. That had a 50 kilowatt charger, so it was a little bit slower, but 85 isn't going to set the world on fire. So if you're going to charge this overnight on a level 2 charger at home, it's going to take you 6 hours. If you're going to plug it into the wall, 36 hours. So really, road tripping, not so much. City driving, yeah, it's fine. Compared to the old Fiat 500e, this new one is actually 2 inches longer, 2 inches wider, and 1 inch taller, which gives you a little bit more interior room. So if you're wondering how much room there is, you do have enough room for, let's say, 2 roller bags. And actually this boot, as the Brits would say, I wonder how you say that in Italian, is actually deeper than the previous model. Now, for those of you who don't speak British English, boot is of course trunk. And underneath this boot bottom is a little storage space, which gives you a run flat charging setup with air and of course a charger. Now, unfortunately in America, we're not going to get a charger, but we are going to get a $600 credit toward a level 2 charger or charging, depending on which you'd prefer. All right, if you're wondering if this will actually work as a city family car, I fear the answer is no, unless you have very small kids or no feet. As you can tell, I'm 6'2". I don't have any headroom. I barely have room for my back because this headrest is knocking into it. And if I move the seat back, I think I'd need somebody very short to drive. So yeah, it's got a back seat, but in terms of utility, for anybody who's over, I'd say 5'5", it's not grand. As tight as the back seat is, that's as roomy as the front seat is. Now I can move the seat way back here, and I'm probably sitting too far back actually to drive the car. So there is 2 inches more in length, and I suppose in the front it does matter. Now the wheel also telescopes and tilts, which is very nice. And if you're wondering, where's my cup holder? It's actually hidden right here. So the Italians have even thought of that. Now, like many electric cars, this also has an interesting door locking mechanism. It's actually just a push button that you push and then open, so making it easy to get in and out. And like any two-door, the door for such a short car is very long, so you might have some issues even in the parking lot, because you will hit whatever you're parked next to with this big ass door. Like the previous generation, this Fiat 500e has push button transmission, which is actually simple to use, and I like that. They didn't reinvent the wheel. Now, they also didn't reinvent the wheel when it comes to your HVAC controls. They're real buttons, so you don't have to dig in the menu if you want to, say, throw some cool air on your body versus on your feet versus, in the defroster. The other nice thing is you do actually have a volume knob. So it's a rotary knob that kind of works like that, which is actually fine once you get used to it. And you do have 3 different drive modes, which allow you to use normal, range, or Sherpa. And Sherpa is basically extended range, one pedal driving, whereas normal allows the car to coast as if you're driving a traditional internal combustion engine. So you pick however you want to drive it, and we'll demonstrate those once we're on the road. If you're familiar with what used to be FCA and now is Stellantis products, then you'll love the OS in the screen. It's basically Uconnect, which I have always found to be very intuitive and easy to use. Also, of course, you get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Alexa integration, and it's just a system that's, very simple, very intuitive, and doesn't, make you think too hard when you're, say, switching from Sirius to regular radio, there we go, to your phone. I'm in normal right now, but let me change it to range mode. And the first thing you notice in range mode is that it's basically one pedal driving, so I don't have to have my foot on the brake. And it should give me more regen. Oh yeah, I can feel it immediately. And if you're familiar with driving an electric car and you have gotten used to one pedal driving, this will feel very familiar. It's actually a really fun way to drive if and when you kind of get accustomed to not using the brake and not making your passengers sick. So as soon as this light turns green, we'll try range mode. Yeah, city driving. Yeah, a lot of stop and stop, and more stop, and then more stop after that. All right, here we go. We're gonna make a right turn, hopefully get off this busy street. And construction, so stop, construction, stop, stop, construction. So we're gonna make a right here, and yeah, let's see what this is like. And then when you let off, I was gonna say gas pedal, once again accelerator, it slows down, and that works really well. And then Sherpa mode, oh, that's interesting. So with Sherpa mode, you get up to 165-ish miles of range. And the first thing I noticed is that it turns off the air conditioning. And when it's 90 degrees outside, that's not a good thing. So once again, one pedal driving turns off the HVAC. It gives you a little bit less power when you floor it, and basically makes it very uncomfortable in Miami in the spring. So, that might be something that you guys use in the Midwest in fall and spring. Now, if you think the Fiat 500e is big, let me put that in perspective, because this is the original 1957 Cinquecento. Not only do you have suicide doors, but you have a car that is dwarfed by the new 2024. But the great thing about them is you can kind of see the family resemblance, right? You've got eyes here, you've got eyes there, you've got a mouth here, you got a mouth there, and the word that comes to mind for me is just charming. Of course, the original Fiat 500e electric was this one. It was a California compliance car. In other words, It didn't have a lot of range, about 87 miles, but what it lacked in range, it certainly made up in style. I mean, orange and white, how cool is that? And then if you come over here, you can kind of see these like little dimples, and these are supposed to be for aerodynamics. You know, like a golf ball gives you better aero to give you better range. I'm not sure that worked all that well back then. Of course, Stellantis loves their Easter eggs, and this car is built, well, let me show you and you can guess where it's built at. First and foremost is this, which is, well, a little Italian flag. So you can probably guess where it's built, but where in Italy is it built? And of course there are Easter eggs for that. There is one right there that you can look at, and there is one right there that gives it all away. In case you didn't see enough Easter eggs, on the phone charger is another Easter egg, the skyline of, I suspect, Torino, which also doubles as a phone charger. Yeah, how cool is that? Now, if you're wondering if you can get your 500e, is that electricity, sorry, bad accent, with NACS, in other words, North American Charging Standard, the answer is no. For now, the Fiat 500e comes with good old CCS until all the other manufacturers get together and switch over. So CCS it is. The only complaint that I have is the seat is a little too firm for my big cushy American butt. But overall, you know, I like little cars. I have to be honest, I'm a kind of a huge fanboy of small little city cars. And what makes this car, to me, very special is that it feels relatively expensive while it's relatively affordable. Please don't crucify me in the comments. But I think when you see the lease rates, this will be the kind of car that if you want something, and if you're in New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, Houston, probably not, that is electric and that does give you kind of that sense that you can zip in and out of traffic and do it with, you know, little fuss, then this is probably the car for you until the new Mini SE comes out, which will obviously directly compete with this. There are two models of the new Fiat 500. This is called the red, and not just because it's red. The red means that you get red mirror caps, you get a red logo and some other red things, but you can get it in black and you can get it in white. $32,500 starting with a $1,500 destination fee, so you're at $34,000. But let's face it, most people will probably lease this to get the $7,500 federal tax credit, in which case you'll probably save a lot of money. They have not yet announced lease prices, but I remember the old one in California back in the day. Of course, here comes the train. Give me a second. It's a short train. You can think about what I'm talking about. All right, the old one you could lease for $99 a month, and I suspect this will be more expensive, but probably not much more. There's also an upper end model inspired by, and that's about $36,000, and you get vegan leather. Is there such a thing? That seems like an oxymoron, but you do get vegan leather. You get a better sound system. You get kind of nicer interior. But for me, this red model is about perfect. So as always, this is Roman reporting for the Fastlane Car. At the beginning of this video, I said, I'll let you know whether you should buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. That's an easy one. Lease it, of course. That's the way you want to save as much money as possible. And if you want to see all of our coverage and not just our EV coverage, go to alltfl.com. As always, I will see you next time. Ciao.